Bucking far left flank, Democrats advance platform touting support for Israel. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Democratic Party on Tuesday advanced a platform that touts the Biden administration's support for Israel, rejecting efforts by a minority of far-left members who pushed a more aggressive stance against the Jewish state. Several progressive activists made a long-shot push last week for the Democratic National Committee to add an unprecedented clause to the party platform rejecting U.S. aid to Israel. Already then, a senior Biden official told the Times of Israel that the effort would not succeed and that the platform would reflect the president's stances on Israel, which include continued U.S. security assistance. The 2024 manifesto was approved by the DNC Platform Committee ahead of its formal adoption by delegates at the party convention next month in Chicago. Party insiders put stock in platforms, whose crafting has led to infighting in the past, but they are also non-binding and largely forgotten once the convention is over. The Middle East section of the 2024 platform is far more detailed than it was 4 years ago, with much of it focusing on the ongoing Israel-Hamas war. Biden also now has a record to run on, and space is given to lay out the policies he advanced while in office. The section begins by highlighting the president's efforts to further integrate the Middle East in order to bolster the anti-Iran coalition. The previous platform made no mention of this issue, as Biden officials entered office avoiding even using the term Abraham Accords, which had been brokered by the Trump administration. But the Democratic White House moved away from that approach after several months, and the DNC platform now notes that Biden directed his team to build on the Abraham Accords through a normalization deal between Israel and Saudi Arabia. As a tangible sign of this normalization process, President Biden helped negotiate the first ever civilian aviation agreement between Israel and Saudi Arabia, allowing for overflight of Israeli civilian aircraft in Saudi airspace and leading to a more integrated and economically connected Middle East, the platform states. While Biden had been hoping to ink a deal between Jerusalem and Riyadh in his first term, congressional sources told the Times of Israel last week that the window has closed for the administration to broker a normalization deal before the November presidential election, because there is not enough time left for the Senate to hold the hearings necessary to approve the defense guarantees for Saudi Arabia. On the Gaza war specifically, the platform states that the U.S. strongly supports Israel in the fight against Hamas, while touting the progress Biden has made toward negotiating a ceasefire and hostage release deal. The 80-page document elaborates that Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris believe a strong, secure, and democratic Israel is vital to the interests of the United States. Their commitment to Israel's security, its qualitative military edge, its right to defend itself, and the 2016 Memorandum of Understanding, containing $3.8 billion in security aid, is ironclad. The platform unequivocally condemns Hamas' October 7 onslaught, including the sexual violence perpetrated by the group, which the U.S. wants to see defeated. It notes Biden's visit to Israel days after the attack, the first by a U.S. president during wartime, and the administration's defense of Israel at the United Nations. Biden's support for the Israel-Ukraine aid package passed by Congress earlier this year is also highlighted. That package included $17 billion in security aid for Israel and $1 billion in humanitarian aid for Gaza. The platform notes Biden's efforts to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, while acknowledging that the best way to do so is through the ceasefire deal currently being negotiated. The president said last week that Israel and Hamas have agreed to the framework and are now working on finalizing the gaps. The document says the Biden-backed ceasefire proposal will enable Arab states to assist in the reconstruction of Gaza in a manner that does not allow Hamas to rearm. It would create the conditions for a better future for the Palestinian people, one of self-determination, dignity, security, and freedom, and ultimately a state of their own, a contrast to former President Donald Trump, who refuses to endorse the political aspirations of the Palestinian people. The platform adds, stressing support for a two-state solution that is rarely voiced by Republicans anymore. Asked at the presidential debate last month whether he supports the establishment of a Palestinian state, Trump gave a non-committal answer. The two-state framework isn't backed in Jerusalem either.